Good morning. This is Dr. Ken Long at Tortoise Capital. It is March 18th, 2017. The title of this recital is The Importance of Persistence and Developing a Thick Skin and Knowing the Characteristics of Your System, and a few thoughts on typical streaks. So this is a day trading chart on EWW Mexico. That's one of our favorite intraday trading targets. It's a frog champion, meaning that it is exceptionally trendy intraday and moves significant distances that allow us to frame our trend following intraday trades. And so I've marked this one up using the hybrid frog approach. Essentially, it opens here at this black line. The hybrid frog buffer in this case is 20 cents. So when I get a 20-cent move away from the opening, then I'm looking to go in the direction of that move and then manage the exit. And that's a hybridized version of the frog system. In this version, I like to wait like 15 minutes if possible. In this case, it lined up just exactly right at 9:45. We had a hybrid frog move away from the opening, so I get short here. It doesn't follow through. You know, maybe the least expected or the least surprising move, or the most expected move, would be to close this gap, which would be a nice payoff. But it doesn't follow through. We get an RLCO crossover here. The RL10 has rolled up. The dragon has started to curl up, and so I cover this one at about a 0.4 R loss. I play a stop and reverse. The rest of the market was working, so I get long here right after this cover. It doesn't follow through. It rejects at the open and starts to fade. I take the RL10 crossing the dragon and exit here for about a minus 0.3. It's leaving that hybrid frog zone, and so I just stop and reverse. That one doesn't work. I get the RL10 crosses back over the 30 and the dragon. It doesn't roll over here, but starts to take off again. So I get I cover that one. So I'm now down about minus 1.1 R. I play the pocket entry. It moves out. Doesn't get a full hybrid frog away from the open to the upside. I decide to stay with it a little bit longer. I cash the RL10 and the RL30 rollover here. You can see that it didn't make a higher high. It started to fail. And now I can see that the RL270 is rolling over too. So I cash this one for 0.5. It comes down, touches the opening, starts to recover. I see that as a pocket. I'm looking for a move up here to the RL270. It doesn't follow through, however, and just starts to decay as it gets back to the opening. I'm concerned about this being a negative day, so I cut my losses at minus 0.4. So I'm 5 trades into the day on this cycle. I'm only 1 out of 5 wins. I'm down about an R, so it's minus 0.4, 0.4, 0.4, and minus 0.3 is minus 1.5, and a half an hour gain, so I'm down 1. I see a Z3P occurring here, so the Bollinger Band pinch, you see, is less than, it's like 10 cents. I buy the breakout. This one doesn't fail here, and it continues, and now when it clears the high of the day, I get a second position in, and I've got my stops up in here, and now this feels like it's starting to make that typical Mexico intraday move. And now I've got 2 positions in at no lose, and it's feeling good. This is moving forward. Those were the 2 entries. It gives me a nice move up here to 49.85. This is essentially an owl exit. And so this one gives me a little over 2.5 R, which pays for the churn and leaves me positive for the day. I then take the owl entry, and I'm able to get another half an R, 0.7 R on this routine move, which was halfway back to the VWAP. And so the point on this one is that you've got to know that you're going to face losing streaks of certain lengths, and that does not have information value that the system isn't working. It's just you have to endure that, and you have to have enough confidence and knowledge about your system so that when you do get losing streaks that are within normal parameters, that you don't allow that to tap into your emotional bank account. You just have to take the heat and just and deal with it. You got to develop the thick rhino skin, if you will. So that's the learning point on this one, is that routine things happen routinely, and days like this are not unusual, and you can't be questioning yourself, your plan, your system, your motivation on the basis of a coin flip. If reasonable intraday systems have winning rates anywhere from 0.4 to 0.6, then you're going to get in any group of 200 trades, you're going to have mathematically, you can just about guarantee at 95% confidence interval that you're going to have a losing streak of 6 or 7 and a winning streak of 6 or 7, and that has absolutely no information value that the nature of the system has changed. That's the kind of streaks that you get that come from random number generators. And so as we refine our systems, we look for ways to try to get micro improvements about the favorable probabilities, because every little bit helps. But we also know that if you're in that band between minus 0.4 and 0.6, those streaks are going to happen, and it's nothing about you. It simply says that in markets, those streaks happen, and you can't be surprised when they do happen. You have to know the boundary of what a significant run looks like that tells you the system may have altered its internal probabilities. And that's a lecture for another day. So take good care. Ken Long at Tortoise Capital.